I honestly don't think it's possible for the job market to get any worse than it is right now. In Canada specifically, it is atrocious. The job numbers for young people, near 20% in some major cities. What future is there going to be if this continues to keep up? And what's even more alarming and scary is you'd think that this would lend to more people becoming entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurs have been on the decline here in Canada for decades. And one of the reasons why is there's not a lot of benefits to being an entrepreneur here in Canada. It feels like we pay more taxes. We have to pay our taxes up front for the next year. So it really kind of ruins your plans of saving money or maybe even having a good Christmas because you have to pay in installments if you're making over a certain amount of money. And that means you're a relatively successful entrepreneur if you get to that stage. And what do you get as a reward for being in Canada? Well, you got to pay your taxes up front. So even being an entrepreneur might not be an option for a lot of people in Canada if they want to thrive. And honestly, it's one of the reasons why I've been considering potentially leaving this country. But it's scary because even leaving is very difficult to do in Canada from a financial perspective, but also just, growing up here my entire life, having friends and family in Canada. I don't know what the next stage is. My wife, now she really wants a remote job because we have a 1-year-old at home and he goes to daycare, and I think she wants to spend more time and be more present with him, which is completely understandable as a mom especially. And she was looking for jobs within her field. She saw some jobs for project coordinators, which is not an entry-level job, by the way. This is not an entry-level job. This is a job that, has qualifications attached to it, experience attached to it, time in the field attached to it, knowledge attached to it, right? Some of these companies, holy crap, $38,000 to $45,000 a year Canadian, by the way. So if you're from the US watching, that would be like $30,000 to about like $37,000 a year. How are companies, how desperate, first of all, are people in Canada for jobs that companies have the ability to do this? And and I don't necessarily blame people in general for taking these positions if they're desperate, but it's definitely putting a lot of downward pressure on the market and the salaries here in Canada if that's what companies are able to offer and that's what they're willing to offer. And they're getting away with it too. It's not like this is completely uncommon. Companies do their research. They see what is the price that the market is expecting, and that's what companies are delivering. So it's really depressing for her and us in general, because I work from home as an entrepreneur and it has its benefits and its disadvantages, but she works in sales and sometimes she has to work weekends. Well, not sometimes, she does work weekends, and she has like 2 days off randomly during the week, which is like a Wednesday and a Friday, not even back together. Like that sucks. I'm like, they should at least give you like a Thursday, Friday, at least you have, it feels like a little bit of a weekend in the middle of the week. So she has the 2 days off kind of broken up a little bit, breaking up the week. And she works weekends. So during that time, because daycares are closed, I have to look after Logan during the weekend. And this could be a nice family time for us during the weekend to spend together. But instead, this is what we're experiencing right now. And she feels like she's trapped because she can't leave her job because it pays decent. It doesn't pay great, but it pays decent. She doesn't want to leave it for a $38,000 to $45,000 salary job in Canada. For someone who has experience, this job market's insane. This is insane. I have a friend in Toronto who's been unemployed now for over 2 years. And I think he might have just taken a job, like a seasonal job in the summer, because like he said, screw it. He was just so fed up of seeing his savings account just get depleted every single month, week after week, day after day. And it's like, at some point, it's like, okay, well now my existence and my survival instincts are kicking in. I need to like figure this shit out now. And luckily I think he did for the time being, but doesn't pay good either, but at least it gets him doing something, right? I did try to find a job, even if it was just a part-time job. I was looking for something after I got laid off a few years ago. 2 years, a little over 2 years to be precise. And yeah, it was so disheartening and so depressing. I gave it 6 months. Didn't even get a single interview. Thank God I still had something going on the side where I was working for myself. After that, I said, "What? Screw it then. I'm going all in. I'm not going to be humiliated. I know my self-worth. I'm not going to let the system just beat me down this way, make me feel worthless." But a lot of people are experiencing this. A lot of people are probably going through the exact same thought process that I'm going through, right? Making you feel worthless, humiliated, like less of a human being because you can't find employment. And it's not as easy as it was back in the day. Like even when I got out of high school, which still the job market apparently wasn't that good, but it's way better than it was now. This is just before the financial crisis. And the job market felt better then and even during the financial crisis than it is right now. That's how bad it is, at least here in Canada. I can't say the same for the States. Obviously, the financial crisis affected the United States a lot more, but it definitely like sent shockwaves throughout the entire globe. But yeah, it was crazy. You know, back then you could just go to a place and hand out your resume, you know, give them a nice handshake, look them in the eyes so they know you're an honest human being, that you're someone who actually is earnest and wants employment. Now you're just a PDF to be dismissed like that. There's no personability here. You know, you can't actually see a person there. So it's very, I guess the word is dehumanizing as well. So not only is the job market humiliating, it's also dehumanizing. And I just said enough of it. I'm not doing it anymore. I will not put myself through that ever again. And that's why I feel for my wife right now, who's a little bit unhappy with her hours at her job, because I know how difficult the job market is and I know how difficult it is to find jobs. So I'm hoping things work out in the future, but it definitely makes me a little bit worried because I do think it would be nice for us to have our weekends together as a family as Logan gets older. But this job market, it might be the worst I've ever experienced in my lifetime. If you feel the same way as well, if you're currently looking for a job or if you have a job, oh my God, if you have a job, you know, like count your blessings, especially if it's over minimum wage, because holy crap, the job market is brutal here, but that's what people have to do just to survive here. And in Canada, like your wages for the cost of living when it comes to housing, especially in food, I don't know how so many people are doing it. But I also know that things are getting worse. There's more people I know losing their jobs. There's more people I know looking for work. More people I know moving back with their parents in their 30s. It's humiliating and dehumanizing. That's really the best way to put it. Anyways, leave your thoughts about the subject down below in the comment section. A little bit of a doomer video here, but I just thought I would just share my thoughts on it as well. Leave your thoughts as well down below in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.